let's talk about one of your deals.
Okay.
Arthur is quite understated. So we've worked together for how long now?
4 years.
And really, you were working part-time as a student, and then after you graduated, you went off travelling, hippie, and then came back into the business and you worked full-time.
Yep.
So you did this deal while working full-time, and you are hard-working, so you were seriously full-time, not just doing your agreed hour full-time.
I was no hours sleep. No, like maybe 4 or 5, but you don't sleep because your head's expanding.
Yes. So you had a full-time job that you over-delivered on in both hours and delivery, and you were running a major development at the same time that had multiple options and some risks. Can you tell us about it? Tell us what it was, how much it was, and why on earth you decided to do it. And this was your 11th project? Yes.
So I bought a 15-year vacant Victorian nursing home.
Okay.
So it had 11 bedrooms.
Yeah.
The plan for it was to put 6 flats in, but because there was a covenant on the title, I wasn't allowed to do that. But the deal was so good, I wasn't going to pass it off to anyone. So I bought it
you
for...
were keeping it?
Yeah. I just didn't want to pass it on. So, and by pass on, I mean maybe deal source or sell it on to somebody else.
Yeah.
So what I did with that one is I thought I could make a quick £50,000.
Okay.
So I stuck it in auction.
Okay. So you bought it for how much?
360.
360. Okay. You were 23 at the time, working full time.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you fund it?
So I had my own cash and I funded it with a bridge, a very expensive bridge.
That gave you palpitations?
Yes.
Okay. And you wanted to flip it out straight away into auction. That was plan one was flats. Covenant said no. You still wanted to keep it. Plan 2 was flip it into auction. What happened?
So I put it into auction one day before I was meant to be completing. So I begged the auctioneer not to release the catalogue because I didn't want the previous owners to find out that I was literally bunging it into an auction.
Had you exchanged already?
No.
Okay, so you didn't technically own it yet. So you were basically slam dunking. You were buying it and selling it, but it was submitted into auction a day before you technically exchanged on it and bought it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I exchanged and completed on the same day.
Right, I understand. But you'd submitted it to auction the day before in the hope that you'd exchange and complete the next day.
Yeah.
Okay. When was the auction?
The auction was 1 month after.
Got you. So you weren't messing around. You were not going to wait for the following month.
No.
Why?
Mainly because of mortgage interest.
Right.
I didn't want to be lumped with, a property sat there for a month this one cost me £2,500 a month.
£2,500 a month.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to wait around for that.
Okay. What happened? I've watched this, by the way, because I was there in real time.
The property didn't sell at auction.
How fun was that?
I mean, you try and keep a brave face, but you just melt into your chair.
At auction or the next day?
That happened at auction. I luckily had a few people around me that took me out for dinner afterwards and ran through all the possibilities.
But you already had the next plan
Yes,
in your head.
yes. Yeah. So the next plan was to refurb it, turn it into a big house, so a 4,000 square foot house.
Okay, massive.
Massive.
Yes.
And yeah, that was 9 months.
Okay, so 9 months of refurb. So we're talking, was it £2,500 of bridging costs during? So
£2,500 of bridging costs, and the refurb cost me about 148,000.
Okay. And what qualities, what standard of refurb did you do?
So I did a high quality, so I spent a lot of money on the detail and on the paintwork and on the end product.
Yes.
Luckily, there weren't many structural.
No.
I didn't have to build anything. I only had to take out some walls.
Yes.
But my main problem was to get the people to actually do the work. And by people, I mean tradesmen.
Yes. Yes. Tell us about that, managing trades, given that you're very particular, very specific, and very high standard in your own work. So how much fun was that for you? It was very good fun for us in the office. it was less fun for Arthur.
Yeah, so I
Bear in
do.
mind, he's working like
Yeah,
full time at this time
I love to plan, and I like to create a plan to then implement.
and deliver on time.
Yes.
Okay.
So with what was Plan B or
Yes.
Plan C,
Yeah.
I didn't have time to find the right tradesman
Right.
to deliver the project.
So if you were to do this again, you'd actually pull together tradesmen in advance for a project, knowing you're going to do renovations.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, I would plan for a longer bridge.
Yes.
I only had a 9-month bridge.
Okay. It's a bit too short.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So always plan for the worst. I
Yes.
maybe necessarily didn't plan for the worst.
Okay. Okay. But you will next time.
Mm.
Okay. So the comedy value of Arthur and his tradesmen, how did that go for you? Seeing as it was funny for us, but only because we're quite experienced. And so are you.
Yeah.
But
It's just get off my site.
You got frustrated again.
Yeah. So
Why?
one incident, for example, I had I don't know, 2 labourers say taking off wallpaper off all the walls.
Yeah.
You know, I'd meet them in the morning, tell them what to do. I'd go to work for you in the
Yeah.
day, and then I'd drive back. It was an hour away, the drive during rush hour.
Yeah.
Drive back, and I'd meet them there. And let's say they only did one wall of depapering. 2 people, you know, you just lose your patience. And yeah.
Yes. So you went through a couple of different tradesmen.
Mhm.
So what you did not accept was low quality, low standard, low speed work.
No.
You prefer to get people off your site and get new people on who can deliver a much greater quality standard.
Yes.
Yes. Totally fair. Okay. You imported some tradesmen as well, didn't you?
Yes, I flew. Luckily, with my heritage, I've got Polish contacts, so I was able to fly them in,
Yes.
have them stay in one of my empty properties, and they had free accommodation and they were able to work on site.
Got you. Got you. So you did a major refurb. Tell me about the bathroom, Arthur.
Oh yeah. So luckily, I have Susannah as a mentor and boss,
friend.
mentor, friend, everything.
Copy person.
And I was able to replicate the detail that Susannah put into her house.
Basically copied my bathroom and then sent me a photo and went, "Do you like my bathroom?" And it was very nice. I liked what you've done very much. So this is a high quality, high spec. Why? Who were you aiming at for a buy to sell?
I wanted a big family or someone that was able to spend a lot in the town that I had this property in.
Yes. So you're really looking for the positioning, the packaging, the branding of this property
Yeah.
to fit their idea of what a very high quality house would be.
Yes.
Fantastic. And you sold it. How much for?
So I sold it for 685.
Yeah. So give us the full figures and your end net profit.
So I sold it for, let's work backwards, sold it for 685.
Yeah.
Refurb was about 148,000.
Yeah.
And then the purchase was 360.
Yes.
And my net profit after all financing costs and everything like that and all, I don't know, miscellaneous things that
Yes.
kind of come into the project, it was about 101k.
101. Got you. And we went out for supper. Was it that night?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completed.
The night he completed, myself, my best mate Mark, who you know anyway from Scotland. And how excited were you by making over 100 grand? Why not? We went out for steak and I was like, well, it's my shout, let's celebrate. And you were like, next.
Yeah, how do you celebrate? Maybe, I don't know. How do you celebrate 100 grand? I don't know.
Because it's outside of your expectations or because you're already mentally planning that money into your next deal?
I'd already spent the money
on what?
on the next deal.
Okay,
So
which is what?
I bought 4 commercial units
Yeah.
for 400,000.
Yeah, which are going to be turned into what?
They're going to be turned into 3 commercial units on the ground floor and 12 to 14 flats above.
Which will be end valued?
About 2.2.
2.2. So you bought your next deal for 400. Okay, you're going to have to renovate them and they're going to end up being worth 2.2 million.
Yeah.
Okay. So really what we're seeing is you didn't have an easy ride of it. You also had MPs, press officers, local residents up in arms because they thought you were going to turn this house into flats, and
I should have done that.
and you ran a whole meet to meet the neighbours. You did a presentation. We were all there. Your MPs or your local councillors were kind of a bit wary of you, and then the press ended up basically being local lad done good, which was fabulous because so you had some anti-developer feeling which you turned around. You had a shorter bridge than really necessary. You had major costs. You had the first plan, covenant not allowed. The second plan, it didn't sell in auction. So the third plan, which is renovate it being quite tough financially. You had a team that weren't as good as because you hadn't necessarily built as full a team as you're going to build next time. So it wasn't smooth all the way. I remember in December, I was phoning you up, wasn't I? And you were just like, I'm just about breathing. And I'm like, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it just to try and bring some comedy back in the situation for you.
Well, I remember the moment when, I was about 30 to 40 grand short of what I needed to deliver, and you sat me down, you said, how much do you need? And then write a list of everyone you know and contact them.
And how long did it take you to raise that money?
2 days.
Oh, 2 days, 48 hours. So that then eased your cash flow because your asset was superb. Because you had another plan as well, which was you could refinance it and rent it out.
Yeah, well, I had to refinance it.
Yeah.
Because of the bridge.
Yes. So we had some So the road to riches is not necessarily smooth. And then, like any decent property entrepreneur, you go and reinvest the money straight away into more assets. Yes. But you did test drive a Porsche.
Yeah, okay. I tried to have a bit of fun.
And
then reality struck.
So what advice would you give people?
For me, I always rush into things.
You do not.
No, I do.
Oh,
Well, maybe for my rushing. Yeah.
I think he's excellent. You're very measured. But maybe there was a couple of things here.
Maybe, yeah. I rush into things, so plan.
Contingencies?
Yeah.
Maybe longer length on the bridge, a little bit of extra working capital.
But that's maybe the bridge was my naivety because I hadn't got a bridge before.
Yes, that was your very first bridging finance, costing you £2.5 grand a month.
Yeah, plus I was late on repaying the bridge.
That could have been fun. Yeah. So you're saying do more planning.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily need it. I needed to get a bridge, but I could have come off the bridge earlier.
Yes.
I didn't factor in Christmas.
Yes, where everybody stops working.
Yeah, because I worked on Christmas.
You worked on Christmas Day. You cleaned your house. You cleaned the whole house on Christmas Day, ready to sell it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. So what I'm seeing is grit and tenacity and non-stop dedication to making this happen. I think I texted you on Christmas Day and you texted back kind of, yes, I'm cleaning. But it was what you wanted to do, actually, wasn't it? Yeah. And that kind of relentless pursuit of getting this job done, no matter how tough it is, which it was at times. And then reinvesting the cash straight away. What's your end goal?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I want property's my foundation to then grow other businesses.
Yeah. So what value of portfolio do you want to have?
15
million. At what loan to value?
Where I'm comfortable, 60. Where it should be, maybe 40.
Okay. Yeah, we had this discussion the other day.
Yeah.
So you want to own 15 million quid's worth of assets at 60% loan to value. I said 40 the other day. And then at that stage, that is just going to bring you in revenue, and then you're going to start other businesses, not having to worry about paying any bills at all, or your old age. Because clearly, young people never get old.
But then we had the conversation of, okay, you might have 15 million, but then you'll have to have a team around you.
Yes.
So it's whether you take a smaller portfolio.
Yes.
With less loan to value and less operational needs.
Yes.
I.e. team, staff.
Yes.
And all of that lot.
Yeah. Or outsource to 2 or 3 really strong letting agents, and if one starts to fail, bring in a substitute, and they'll always have 3 baskets of letting agents for a larger portfolio, so that you can always put it into 2 and then bring a 3rd one back in.
Yeah.
But there'll always be niggles.
Which we've experienced.
Yes. Well, I hope that's useful. I mean, we're kind of giggling about it. There were some interesting moments, but ultimately you made over 100 grand whilst working full time, and then reinvest it into a project that was cost 400 grand that you're going to end value 2.2 million. It's a laddering up, really, isn't it? Under 25. You want to make a shed load of cash relatively fast? That's a buy to sell strategy. Download my buy to sell pack, written for you guys. Everything I know popped into there for you.